kitty. We're home. All right, sweetie, did you hear the alarm?
Yes.
Okay. The nap time is over for right now. Do you want more food, kitty? Or just more playtime or something like that? Okay, kitty. Well, that's nap time. All right, sweetie, you're doing pretty good. You're supposed to be there an hour and 40 minutes ago. Look at that kitty. Did you let her know?
40 minutes ago.
Oh, 40 minutes ago, guys. Sorry.
I don't know.
Hour off. Yippee, baby.
Okay.
Super.
Okay, let's not be late. I gotta go.
Yeah, and clean your plate so when we get back, you can get some wet food. You super.
This afternoon.
You good kitty. You super.
Alright, let's go. Alright,
Okay, kitty. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do.
I know. Okay.
You got some food and water. Get some cat rest.
Love you. Gotta go.
Well deserved. Act 2. Yeah, the typewriter was used in the 90s. You could do corrections on word processors, or you could pretend like you're writing, you know. But we learned on a typewriter, and of course a word processor. The
But I
computer
have
came
nobody
in.
asked because they're all dead. What did I do? What happened? Did we run out of paper? Did we run out of ribbon
ribbons.
stuffs?
Back in the day, yeah.
Did the cat eat it? And then,
Yeah,
no wonder why my cat died. He probably ate the ribbon to it.
Most likely.
Smell. Oh. What happened to it?
Things happen.
I would say it's probably about 1990.
How's your Italian BMT?
I don't know. It's so hot here.
Big medias. What's it stand for?
No, media is number 3. That has
BMT
5
is
things.
big meat.
No. BMT is 6 pepperonis, 6 salamis, and 2 roast beefs.
BMT is a word they use, though.
Yes. Remember, we have the Italian BMT, and then we have the other one.
Okay.
One has ham, one doesn't. Don't ask me what the other is.
But what's it mean?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Beef.
Bit of mystery.
There's beef, milk, tea. Some dude that was high eating Subway, and he just made up an initial just to screw with our brains. I don't know. I just know it's pepperoni and salami and roast beef.
The only people that would really know are the people that published it.
Yeah, I know. Good for them. Do not miss the exit. I'm already running late. Thank you. And we're about to exit in a minute. Thank you. See you soon. Welcome, please subscribe show.
We might want to subscribe at this point. Whoa.
Ooh, what is that?
I don't know.
Oh, that was a bag.
It was an ex-robot.
Oh,
Biggest, meatiest tomato is?
no. Oh, wait. I think I got the acronym. Best, most, tastiest.
Oh.
Baby?
You are right.
Best, most, tastiest?
The best, most, tastiest.
I have read it. I think I've read it before. I think I've Googled it before.
That's why it's good. Yeah, Jersey Mike's is a dangerously good sandwich, and everything they have is great. It's highly addictive. There's actually people in rehab because of Jersey Mike's, but it's very, very good stuff. It's intensely good sandwiches.
Oh, it's Firehouse.
At the tail end of that BMT mixture, Linda.
And I'm sitting here waiting like Kitty and just ready to pounce on it.
Surprisingly enough, if you watch my channel, you get to know the fans. I talk a lot about filmmakers, some musicians. Woody Allen, for example, big fan, huge fan of Woody Allen. I was brought up on Woody Allen, you know, ever since I was a little kid. That's a way kind of how I got an introduction to sexual kind of relations, on everything you want to know about sex and more, or something like that. Is a song. Not a song, I'm sorry. There's a song in it, but it's a movie. And these characters are dressed in little white fatigues and real nervous about their possible injection. And, you know, Woody Allen has always been funny, you know, ever since I was little, you know. Mel Brooks and Woody Allen. Of course, Mel Brooks was a staple in the home for any kid that had a television or anything. You were introduced to Mel Brooks pretty quick. But going to Woody Allen, you know, he kind of creeped around, I guess, into my generation as a teenager, because, you know, he was kind of teaching us the art of storytelling and love interest, and, you know, being a fan of Ingmar Bergman, you know, the Swedish filmmaker that did some nude stuff, you know, back in the day when you couldn't go and see a movie with a nude scene. At least you went to an Ingmar Bergman film, and that's kind of why they're always front row, you know, sitting there, you know, Ingmar Bergman, you know. But going back to Woody Allen is kind of a staple in all that scene, and Sam Shepard scene, and he was the stand-up comedian. But I thought it was interesting reading about his early life, which I'm still reading about it. He changed his name to Haywood, which I didn't really understand that move. Did keep the Allen in there because Allen was his original name, and I'll have to go back to find his whole original name. What I did, I'm getting kind of Woody Allen when I'm talking about it, is I bit off a big chunk of his history, of his life when I was reading, and I realized one thing that he did in an early career was he got a book called The Art of Creative Writing, I think. The guy's name is a very weird name. I'll have to tell you about his name later, but it's a book that he suggested, or that he read. And then I read some of it. It seems very interesting about creative writing. Very unique book. You know, we started reading Sid Field, which was just basically like screenplay format. This one looks like a really good one, so I downloaded the sample, and then I kept reading a little bit more about Woody Allen, and he's getting older. I think he's approaching his 90s, and I think he was born. I'm just gonna guess 1939. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. And then I know that he started telling jokes, and supposedly his first joke was Woody Allen thinks these restaurant prices are OPS, which is over people's salaries or something like that. And I looked at the joke and I was like, this is a funny joke. But yeah, his first joke. This guy's waving. Okay. This first joke was kind of, you know, a creative joke. So he went full time on writing jokes, and he would spend 8 hours a day filling up a ream of paper from using a typewriter. He was doing this for a long time, and finally television hired him to be a comic writer, which they needed jokes back then. It was a big deal. You could write the jokes, you get paid. He's making $1,500 a week back in the day. We're talking like radio days, you know, 40s or so. I have to go back and check my fact check on all this. $1,500 a week. It's an incredible amount for a writer. But anyway, just thought that was interesting. He was also a stand-up comedian in the same bar that Sam Shepard was a busboy, and I learned that too. So, the two movies that I own from Woody Allen, the one that I bought, I got Stardust Memories, big fan of Stardust Memories. I'm also a big fan of his early work. And also, another thing, too, that's funny about Woody Allen, is I got another movie called Shadows and Fog, which I think is a masterpiece. Definitely, cinematography alone is a masterpiece. That one's a must-see. It's very funny. It does stuff with pepper. The pepper, they ward off the killer with pepper. It's like you blow this pepper into the mouth, or into the eyes of the killer. Maybe the mouth too. It's like, that tastes good. Make sure you get the pepper in the eyes and the. But anyway, things started to dim for a minute. But yeah, he's got some really good ones. Really, really great one. Annie Hall, of course, he won for that one. He's been nominated 16 times for scripts. I think he broke a record. We'll have to look that up. But 16 times for screenwriting. If anyone should be teaching screenwriters, and I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Looking at 73 degrees. The windshield wiper going, just in case. 17003 of Woody Allen is kind of complex and neurotic, and a lot of grabbing of the glasses. You know, this kind of this shtick, which goes probably to the Marx Brothers, but it's psychological because he uses Greek mythology and magic. He uses magic. He's kind of a magician. There's a character named Alvy or something. I just throwing that out there. I'll talk about it later. I could be wrong. I always kind of considered myself the Fort Worth Woody Allen, but so did some of my friends. The thing is like he was just frighteningly frail, kind of wimpy, but yet he hung out with the hottest of righteous babes known to mankind, and was always around them, especially hitting on them and kissing on them, which is genius. Completely genius. Because you got this little guy, with the most beautiful women, and they all adored him, because he was this cute little thing they could take care of. So he had that aspect of him that's really funny for the comedy. And then, of course, the neurotic mess, and a lot of the characters, a lot of the women were neurotic messes, like in Husbands and Wives. And even Annie Hall, the drivers, or especially Annie Hall being a driver, a crazy driver. There's a lot going on and everything. You go on for probably days, maybe years, of just analyzing the crap out of. There's also this current thing about the breaking down or destruction of the universe. That the world is that it's that the world is slowly, or the universe is slowly deteriorating, and there's no stopping it, which I think is in Annie Hall, and almost it's just kind of a through line, of the whole entire existence of Woody Allen is a breakdown of the universe, and possibly maybe even an abandonment or hopelessness towards probably God, whether no one really knows his real heart. Anyway, it's just comical that a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant would even comment or even be a fan, which is ironic and contradictory. It really is. Don't know if he has a lot of wasps in his dramatist persona, but it certainly could be a future one, maybe. I'm sure they're in there somewhere. His creative writing is amazing. As a writer, probably one of our best, when it comes at least to cinema, something that we can see. You can pick up a book, whole family right there, sitting there talking. Anyway, you can pick up a book and, analyze it, and just, it could be anything from Hemingway, all the way to, Kafka, to, Sophocles. And you can analyze it, and get lost in the world. And those are kinds of the things that he brought into his writing. Is a very important aspect of Woody Allen's writing was the history of writing and of thinking and being funny. And they all have this weird connection with God. You know, my whole thing about You'll Watch Me Feast, it probably comes off as a little eerie or funny, or maybe both, or it certainly could. You know, did you eat? That kind of thing. But, you know, it's also got a New York side to it. You know, there's a New York aspect. When you go to New York, you certainly think of Woody Allen. He's a small little creature somewhere in there, you know, typing it up and getting the right shot, like Manhattan, you know. But he's mostly masterpieces, so you have to take your hat off to him, rather, you know. And then you just probably leave religion out of it, you know, in a conversation. You probably want to bring in philosophy or some type of theory. But believe it or not, you know, being a fan of Ingmar Bergman, which I am too, religion is a big part of what he does too, secretly, you know. I remember on my second marriage, I was in an aircraft, probably 30 or 40,000 feet in the air, or somewhere in that medium, and Kate Blanchett comes on this little, you know, this little screen. David Lynch would be very mad that I'm watching this, you know, movie on a small screen, because we know how David Lynch feels about watching movies on phones. Like, don't effing do it. But I watched The Blue Jasmine, I think that's correct, and this was like on my honeymoon. So, you know, I'm sitting there watching Blue Jasmine, you know, and my wife, soon to be ex-wife, after about 3 children and nearly 6 years later, and then I'm finding myself in, you know, the Baldwin character is an interesting character in that too, and I'm, you know, not to that degree or anything, but it was like a prophetic. So that's another thing I guess I could say maybe about some of his work is there's like a prophetic feel to it, you know, and everything. And then of course everyone's favorite, and one of mine is Midnight in Paris. You know, he brings in the, you know, the character of Hemingway, and, you know, Fitzgerald, and all the impressionist painters, and all the poets and songwriters and wives of writers, like Fitzgerald's wife Zelda, you know, and all these, like, you get to see how they may have behaved, which I disagreed with some of it. I thought Hemingway would have been a little more harsh. You know, he seemed a little kind. Hemingway probably would have gotten a fight. He avoided that, and or at least thrown something very hard against the wall. And then I think Fitzgerald was far more neurotic. I don't think he was that suave at all. He made Fitzgerald to be kind of a suave character. He may have been, you know, but I see Fitzgerald as this nervous wreck, similar to kind of Woody Allen a little bit. Supposedly Hemingway went to Fitzgerald to help him when he was sick, and was talking him out of, you know, giving up on life, because Fitzgerald was so scared that he was going to die that he was literally shaking, and Hemingway went over to console him. I've read some of that stuff, because I've read a little bit about the two. But yeah, it's fun to go back and Midnight in Paris and revisit that. It's such a great thing, because like English teachers are going to love that, and English classes are going to sit there and laugh about it. Then the music, of course, the band music, you know, going off in your head when you think about it, you can hear it. Probably say or could be maybe one of our best writers of that generation, and one of the best filmmakers too, probably, and philosophers, and of course the stand-up comedian by far. Probably a lot of people would agree, although Lynch would be critical, because I heard a rumor that Woody Allen was at one of the Oscars, and he was up for screenwriting, I guess for Hannah and the Sisters or something like that. Maybe Husbands and Wives, or Hannah and Sisters, some script, and it was up against Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet was, you know, David Lynch's little thing, and he was just honored to be in the same category as David Lynch. You know, so, you know, he's a fan too of certain type of tourism and stuff like that. What's interesting is I'm looking at the new thing, and there's just like a blatant ripoff of Ingmar Bergman's shot of death and the night playing on the beach. I don't think it's Wonder Wheel, but it's not Wonder Wheel, but it's the other one, the one about the film fest. It's got a weird name. It's got wall is Sean in it, and he, you know, someone's sitting on the beach, and it's like a exact shot of Ingmar Bergman's Seventh Seal. Oop, gotta go.